In today's video, we're going to talk about opportunistic interviews. And by that, I mean you get the chance to interview with a company, but there isn't a job open necessarily, but the hiring manager has still agreed to meet with you. In this video, we're going to talk about why this happens and how you can maximize that opportunity. Let's go. Now, the reason I'm covering this is I had someone comment on a YouTube video of mine, and they said, Ben, what about an opportunistic interview? What if there isn't a job posted, there's no job online, but a hiring manager has agreed to interview you? How can you prepare for this? How is it different? What do you do? And that's what I'm going to cover today. Now, this primarily happens for three different reasons. So the first is they're doing it as a favor to somebody, right? So you know someone within the organization, they pass along your resume and they agree to speak with you. Now, this is probably the hardest road into the company if they don't actually have a job and they're just doing it as a favor. But it doesn't mean you can't have a great interview. It doesn't mean you can't get hired. And it doesn't mean you can't make an impact in this circumstance. Now, the second situation is they actually can hire you. So they can hire you. They don't have a position open, but they have the autonomy, the flexibility, and just the ability in general to bring someone on, even if they don't have an urgent role that is currently open. Now, the third reason this happens is for future pipelining. They can't hire right now, but they can hire people like you in the future. And it makes sense to build that relationship, evaluate if you'd be a good fit. That way, when the hiring manager can hire again, they can just reach out to you. Now, the good news is no matter which one of these circumstances it is, I would still recommend preparing all the same because it is still an opportunity and you should put yourself in position to take advantage of every opportunity in front of you. Now, just because you got to this point in an unconventional way doesn't mean your preparation needs to be. You still need to prepare as if you normally would for a normal interview. So that means all the standard stuff, right? What I would recommend doing is I'd recommend going online and seeing if you can find a job description on their website that is similar to a role you would apply for. If you do find one, that's great because you can look at it, you can look at the requirements, the must-haves, you can see what they put in their job description and get an idea of what they typically look like for candidates. Now, if they don't have that, if you can't find that, that's okay. You still want to do the normal prep. You want to do preparation on the company, what's going on with them, what's going on with current events. You want to learn about their culture and values. A lot of times they have that on the About Us section of the website. So you want to know about the company. You also want to know about yourself and be prepared to talk about you, your achievement, your background. But there are a few things that you really need to focus on when it's an opportunistic interview. I'm going to cover those now. Now, you need to have a great answer to why you were interested in their company, right? This isn't a normal interview. You're talking just because you're interested in the company. There's not even a job right now, right? So it can't be, I'm really interested in this role. No, your interest at this moment in time is entirely based on the organization. So if they say, hey, why are you interested in our company? And you don't have a good answer, that is going to fall flat because right now it's entirely based on that. So you have to have an incredibly compelling reason why you're interested in their company. You also have to have a really good answer as to why you're open to leaving your current job. Now, if you're not in a role currently, if you're unemployed, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you are employed and you are talking to a person from another company about a job that doesn't even exist, they're going to want to know why. So have a great reason as to why you're interested in, potentially leaving your job. Here's a hint on that. You don't want to make it anything negative about your current company. You don't want to talk bad about your boss, your team, the organization, etc. Make it about what you're interested in. Like, hey, I'm not really on the market right now, to be honest, but I've always admired your organization. So when this opportunity came up for me to speak with you, I felt like it would be foolish for me not to at least take advantage, introduce myself, learn about your team, what you're doing in the future, and get an understanding if there might be a future fit. Something like that. But you have to have a good answer for those two questions. You also need to be ready to quantify your impact. What this means is you want to look at the things you've done for your organization and talk about where you have made a significant impact that has saved the company money, made the company money, saved the company time, etc., right? You want to be able to quantify what you have done. If you can add some sort of financial number to this, it is really powerful, right? Like last year, I led a project doing blank, and over 12 months, I was able to reduce blank time by 50%, saving our company blank amount of money. That is an example of quantifying your impact. And it is really powerful in a role like this because, or in an interview like this, because a role might not exist. So when a role doesn't exist, it is even more important to justify your cost, right? You want to be able to cost justify yourself, right? At the end of the day, they're going to need to pay you a salary. And if they're going to pay you a salary, you want to show them why it is in their best interest to pay you a salary. If your salary is $100,000, but you're able to save your last company $200,000 by some of the good work you've done, well, that right there is cost justifying yourself. You've made a case why, even though you don't have a role, it makes sense for you to entertain me as an employee because of the significant impact I might be able to make. Now, these are some of the basics, but if you follow these steps, you're absolutely positioning yourself to have a better chance of getting a job. But I think you should also watch this video here. This video here is 5 interview secrets that every candidate should know. And if you take these tips you just learned, and you also take the advice of this video, you are definitely going to increase the likelihood of you getting a job offer. So I'm done here, but I will see you over there.